Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. Today is May the 10th, 2018, and we have one of our containers here. What size container is this? It's one of the ones that your bigger trees come in. And we're going to be planting the sweet potato slips in here today. And this is old potting mix. And it also has in compost. And we recharge the soil with Epsom salt, bone meal, and I used Epsom, the tomato food, because we want to feed the roots on it. And the tomato food had the higher last number, so that'll help establish the root system. And phosphorus helps establish the root system as well. That was the purpose of the bone meal. And the tomato food will also help with that as well. And I'll have links down below for this. So we're going to get this all mixed in here with a little handheld Roby tiller thing. And over here, we already planted this one up. And some of these were started in water, and we took them out and planted them. And some of these over here, this was that real long one that was on my sweet potato shoots, and we buried the stem here, and as soon as this roots, we'll cut them off back here then, and then this plant here will grow up. So that'll give us more sweet potato plants. And we also had planted winter wheat in these containers over the winter to help re-nourish the soil from using it. And you just till this stuff in, and we actually had to go the whole way down to the bottom because the roots, it was so root down that we had to break the whole root mat up, which you can see here. This is some from the winter wheat, and that'll help break down then into more food. So as soon as we get this mixed up, we'll be right back and show you how to plant them. And these over here in this bin over here, they're a little wilted because they were just transplanted. So they're going through some transplant shock, but they should perk back up. And we're back over here with this bin over here. You can see how nice everything mixed in together. Now you want to definitely make sure that you get down to the bottom of your container and get that all broken up and everything stirred up so you get the fresh air back in there. And you can see here the soil is nice and fluffy. It's not hard, it's not compacted. When you do root crop vegetables, you want your soil to be nice and fluffy. You don't want it to be hard. You don't want it to be like a brick. You want it nice and fluffy so the roots can spread out and produce the potatoes and your root crop vegetables. And you also want to make sure that your container is well drained. And we also have holes here. Let me show you over here. Hold on a moment. And we also put holes in the side of this container. They're about the size of your thumb. Sorry about that. There's 4 of them there to help for drainage, because you don't want your root crop vegetables to be sitting in soggy soil. They don't like soggy soil. And you want to make sure for your other container that, you know, whatever container you use, you want to definitely make sure that it's well drained and that the water can flow out of it very freely. So we drill extra holes in ours to make sure we get that extra drainage. Okay, so these are our sweet potato plants that you can see the potato down here that they came off of. And there's more potatoes in here. That real long one that I had in here that was on the last video, we already took that one off and put it in that other thing. So I'm going to show you here how to get your stems off here. You can see they're growing the roots out on them. So we're going to just get them out here. And we're going to snap this off down. Oops, sorry about that. At the base of the potato down here. I'm just going to, pruners would probably work better. Cut it off there. And it doesn't have too many roots on it yet. I could have left it go longer. There's some more in there that I'm going to let go longer. here. There we go. You can see the roots coming off of here. So we're just going to take and snap this off if I can get to it here. Hold on a moment. I'm trying to hold the camera. The Orioles up at the feeder. The Baltimore Orioles came back. Now you can plant them like this. This one doesn't have any roots on it. It will shoot roots off and it will root itself. So I'm going to show you how to plant these two here that I just took off. So we'll be right back. So I'm back over in the bin here. And I'm just making my hole here for this. And I'm putting this down and I'm going to take this leaf off here. And I'm going to, hold on a minute, let me put this up some. Put this in right here. There we go. And this will grow. And the reason why we use black containers is to help hold the heat in, because sweet potatoes, they like it hot. So normally a lot of people grow them down south more than in the north sometimes. But we use the black containers to try and help hold the heat in. And this variety is, I think they pronounce it brewery or something like that. I'll put it down on the bottom what the variety that this one here is. Now this one doesn't have any roots on it, so I'm just going to snap more of these leaves off here. And this will root for us. It might wilt for a little while, which it's probably going to, and I'm just sticking it in like that and pushing the soil back around it. So I'm going to check and see if I have any more right now that I can put in this container. And when I finish with it, I'll come back and I'll show you. It's a little hard to hold the camera and try and check them to pull them off. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so none of the other ones had roots growing out on them yet. They have to get bigger. And I don't want to do all of them by cuttings like I did this one here. So I just have these two planted in here right now. And then we have this bin over here that has these planted in. And on my sweet potato tubers, I recovered the potatoes up because I didn't want them like exposed to the light or anything like that. I wanted them, you know, shooting up their stalks like they're supposed to be, so we can take these off. And as soon as these have enough roots on them or have more roots on them than what they have, I'll be taking them off then, and we'll be putting them in that bin. I just want them to have some more roots. I could do them from cuttings like I did with that one, but I'm gonna let them have more roots on them, because even this one here, you can see it doesn't have roots yet. It's just starting to right there. So once this warmer weather comes, they'll start putting out more roots. And the reason why we don't let them attach to the potato, we actually did that one year, and they never produced any more sweet potatoes, and the potato never got any bigger. So it's just kind of like, these are like our stock potatoes that we use for doing our slips from, and they won't grow anymore, so you have to take these off. So that's what we've noticed, and that's what we've seen. I mean, if you trim these, the potato would probably get like larger, like if you kept nipping these, because then it would be putting more back down into the potato. My dad was saying when he was a kid, they used to plant sweet potatoes, and one year the sweet potatoes accidentally got mowed off, and his dad was not happy at all about that. And when they harvested them that year, they actually had more sweet potatoes and bigger sweet potatoes than what they had before, because the plant was putting everything out into this stem here. So as our sweet potatoes start growing, we are going to let, you know, some of the plant there, but we're going to kind of keep nipping the tops once they get so tall or so big. I'm not sure yet how big we're going to let them get. We'll have to see, and I'll do a video on that. And that's going to force more back into the sweet potato tubers and into the potatoes. So And another thing with sweet potatoes, like your regular potatoes, like a more acidy soil. So that's one of the reasons why we added like the Epsom salt. The Epsom salt has a sulfur in it, which will help to lower the soil pH. And so does our tomato and vegetable plant food. That has sulfur in it as well. So that's going to help give us a lower soil pH, which should help our sweet potatoes a lot and should help them produce better. What happens if you get a pH that's too high for your plants aren't going to thrive. And they're just not going to do too good. So checking your soil pH is a really good thing. And having a soil pH meter, which I'll put a link down below for the one that I use, is a really good thing to have, because you can test your soil. You can see if your soil's too acidy, you can see if it's too alkaline, and then you can adjust it accordingly. If it's too acidy, you can add like lime to your soil, or you can add like wood ashes. If it's too alkaline, you can add sulfur to it, or you can add like a product with sulfur to it. And it's not an overnight like change. It'll take some time, you know, for everything to work together to you know, change the soil pH. But having one of those meters is a really good thing, because then you can test everything. And you know, if you see that the soil is at a certain pH and a plant will grow better there, then you can plant that one there, and you can plant your other thing somewhere else if you don't want to change it. So I really recommend a pH tester meter. And you also want to make sure that you put your sweet potatoes out in full sun, because they like the heat, they like the sun. So you want to definitely make sure that you put them out in full sun. And we did do them in the ground already, but the bins are so much nicer. The potatoes come out a whole lot cleaner. You can just empty the bins out onto like a tarp or something like that, and just, you know, pick your potatoes out and put the soil back in the container then when you're done. And we just find that it's so much nicer than putting them in the ground. When we tried them in the ground didn't drain too good, and the potatoes were really a mess. And it's just so much nicer in the bins, and it's so much easier to take care of. So we prefer to do ours in bins. You can do them in the ground if you choose to, but we just prefer to use the bins. If you like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave them below and I'll try and answer them for you. Please don't forget to hit that little notification button. I'll tell you when I put a new video on. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye.